Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. We're presented by the Navy Federal Credit Union. Time to shine the light on Navy women's lacrosse with head coach Cindy Timchal. And before we talk about individual matchup, Coach, I just want to talk big picture about women's lacrosse and where this game has gone. You have seen this game from its infancy to where it is now. We have unbelievable athletes playing the game at an incredibly high level. I know at some point you saw the game going here, but how have we gotten here to where we see some amazing athletic feats on a daily basis in this game right now?
Uh, Pete, yes, it's first of all, thanks. I'm so thrilled to be here today and chat with you about women's lacrosse and Navy women's lacrosse and the Patriot League. But, as you said, lacrosse has always been billed as the fastest game on 2 feet. The athleticism has really risen. I mean, the dedication to, the training, the nutrition, the experiences now that many athletes have now, women's lacrosse, maybe that wasn't as much in the past, and now has exploded. So, Pete, you're right. Some of this exceptional play is obviously attributed to a lot of the grad students getting that extra year. Really, there's a big difference when 24-year-olds are on the field. However, we're seeing amazing athleticism with individual women athletes, including some of ours, as freshmen and sophomores. So, and they've learned from the better players, practicing every day. And, quite possibly we thought last year the UNC team, for example, and kind of the intermixings of having Andy Adavi from Notre Dame and, standout lefty from Richmond, Gersak. But I think, you look today and you witness a play, and I'll just pull out the number 1 team in the country, Northwestern University. I mean, their level of play, their athleticism, benefiting a little bit from portals and grad students. However, this is what makes women's lacrosse exciting, and people just want to go and watch because of that excitement, the speed, the athleticism. It is a little physical. It has a little bit of everything in a game, which I think what fans love and what the actual players, when they step out on the field, they know they're in for a ride. Having fun, playing free, running fast. And as you said, Pete, you witnessed it and have been witnessing it, whether it's the ACC tournament on Sunday and now ahead for us with the Patriot League with 3 teams in the top 25. And then beyond, there are other conference championships, including the Big Ten and, the CAA, et cetera. So I'm excited. You're excited. And we're always looking for rule changes. We're always making, but that's what, it's not just women's lacrosse. I mean, NFL dives deep into what they can do better, whether it's a rule change or things they can be doing. Theo decided on how baseball can make it a faster game, a more exciting game, a shorter game. So we're always diving into allowing the athletes sometimes make this decision on what they like when they're on the field. But also, Pete, if you want to come to a game and see some excitement, we want to make sure we have great rules and things that allow us to excel and expand, as you said, in women's lacrosse at the college level and at the international level.
I mean, if you go back and listen to any of the games I broadcast, I just want more play-ons, Coach. I just want more play-ons, I mean, I feel like we're taking an athlete who makes a tremendous dodge to the goal, and then all of a sudden we blow a whistle and we make her come back and take a shot from 8 meters, which in a sense, in my mind, gives the goalie sometimes a better chance, maybe even to make a save, or a defender a better chance to get a stick in the way, where that player has dodged to a 1v1 with the keeper and can't finish because they got to go back to the 8 meter mark. I just want to play on, Coach.
Those are 2 very powerful words. It's kind of like the umpire in baseball. What does he say? Play ball. Play on. Let's play on. Um, your comments are very valid, and we, like, as an association, we need to, come up, like you said, with our rules are complicated. The mitigating factor is trying to keep our sport, like any other sport, as safe as possible. Um, I don't know I don't know how to balance that out, because there's always an inherent risk with sport.
Sure.
We feel soccer is very physical. There are no goggles, there are no helmets. You don't have to wear a mouth guard. um, Soccer is going to be soccer. You don't even have to
Yeah.
wear shingle. You really don't have to wear anything but your uniform. Adding equipment to keep it safer. Just, we want this to be exposed. There's a reason why soccer is popular. You can play it anywhere, any country in the world, and any pitch, whether it's out on the dirt, or on the cement. So I like how you think, and play on is maybe a slogan. I hope you don't TM it after you talk to me, but but maybe it's something we really could ignite a little bit of change to allow what you're looking for and what the players are looking for too.
Yeah. The players, I think, and I look at what, Kathy Samaras has done in this local area and others like her throughout the Mid-Atlantic. Obviously, you go up into the Northeast, and now the game is growing even out west. The players are better equipped than ever now before they've gotten to the college level. How have you seen that growth affect now what has helped our growth at the college game, where we have more teams that play quality women's lacrosse than ever before?
Oh, the growth of the sport, and just like the queen of lacrosse, Kathy Samaras, born right here in Maryland, and excelling in the Annapolis area, and her daughter's crushing it too. Continue to have, investing their time in the game. Having the ability to recruit some of the top players in the country from Colorado, from California, from Minnesota, from Florida, has changed the landscape of the sport. There are a tremendous amount of young women competing at the highest level in all of their levels, whether it's youth, club, high school, post-grad schools, collegiately, Division 1, 2, and 3, and you have the NAIA, and junior and community colleges like Anne Arundel. There's a place to compete, and like you said, the growth across the whole country, and maybe in that case, a lot of transplants. We have players that competed at the Naval Academy. They're stationed out at San Diego. They're helping club teams when they can. Players down in Florida, when they have the opportunity, they're asked to help out with a clinic. Jenna Collins, helped volunteer for Jacksonville a couple of years ago. So getting great coaches out into that area will help it expand. But more so than anything, there's just a level of attraction for young, fast, fit athletes that see this game, and as an alternative for spring sport, they want to play. And
No
many
doubt
of them in
about
the
it.
fall play soccer, they play field hockey, they play basketball. Come springtime, let's pick up that lacrosse stick, and whether it's play ball or play on, let's go. And I think that's where we're at.
I love a player like Grace Peterson, who played ice hockey and also played lacrosse, and was willing in Minnesota to come to the East Coast during the summertime just to be seen by lacrosse coaches. It's truly extraordinary what has happened. Let's talk about your matchup this weekend. Obviously,
Yep.
a second matchup here with Army. And let's face it, teams like yourself and Loyola have made the rest of the Patriot League step up their resources and their programs. We've seen Army do that now. Thoughts on a second time around here against the Black Knights up in Baltimore coming up on Thursday?
Yes, and to go back to what you said, Loyola set the standard. We were able to take a couple championships from them. Army saw how Navy could excel in a team sport at a service academy and, embrace that opportunity. We're going to the Patriot Leagues, and getting to the championships is really a testament to the 2023 team. I think there's only one other time we missed going. And actually, it was a couple years ago in the pandemic when we, it was unfortunate, but we did. But being here is something that, we want to get out there and prove ourselves. We know Army's a tough matchup, and we don't go back and what happened in the last game. I just think it's for us and our players. They love each other. They compete hard at practices. They train hard, and they get to play Thursday night. It's not like they have to play. They get an opportunity to step out on the field as Navy Women's Lacrosse. And that's really all that we are focusing on, is another opportunity to get together, to practice together, to compete together. And that's pretty much our focus going into this Patriot League Championships at Loyola.
Let's talk about your team individually with a couple of players. And every time I interview Athena Caroon, she and I talk about this amazing ability of defenders in this game. The rules go completely against defenders. I don't know how defenders defend in this game, but just when you see, consistency like that from her, and you talk about practices, and she brought up a great point. The fact that, and I'm sure teams like Loyola and all the top teams benefit from this, because you have so much depth on your team, you have so much quality. Your offensive players are better because you're practicing against great defensive players, and great defensive players are practicing against great offensive players. Is that the kind of roster building that basically everybody hopes to get to that point, because that makes your practices every day better, which at times might even be more difficult than some of the games you play?
Yes. I think Athena said it right. We have a lot of talented players on our roster, ones that are ready to step up, and and those that don't get as much playing time are making our team a better team. They bought into the idea of competing hard at practice, really pushing each other, pushing the limits. And, it's a true testament and value to Athena, one of our captains, to the rest of the team as a buy-in. And you mentioned about Grace a few moments earlier, as well as we call her Katie Gold-Brownson. And, Grace was hurt last year and just really was on the sidelines, just taking it all in. Katie was a player on the fringe, just practices a lot. One day, she just woke up last summer and said, this is it. I'm going for it. So, those practices have led her to be one of our top defenders too on that squad that is led on the defensive end by Athena Caroon. I also like what you said about there are 3 roles, and I don't want to compare men's and women's lacrosse, but there are 3 roles that are counterintuitive to defense, and it's one is shooting space, 2 is 3 seconds. The other one comes on the offensive end in a dangerous shot. And those are 3 roles that are calls that are made in our game. And sometimes, too many times, that really it disrupts the flow, not only of the offense, but the defense. As you said, it does not come naturally to not want to leave and go help. Just like you saw, the Warriors play crazy basketball. I don't know how they did last night, but in the 7th game against Sacramento, they were playing crazy basketball in the second half. Great defense. So it is counterintuitive.
Yeah. Lakers won last night. Won last night for the record, but it's only game 1. So the Warriors, who were down 2-0 the previous series, came back and won. They've got plenty of time. On the other end of the field, what an incredible mix. And developing chemistry is not easy. You can try to talk it into existence as a coaching staff. Players can try to, work on it in practice.
Yeah.
But it has to come. There has to be buy-in. There has to be unselfishness. So much depth on your offensive end. So many players that you could put out there if you were allowed to play 15 players at a time. And you mentioned, obviously the state of Florida. It's good to you right now with Ava Yavino. But the fact that you've got youth and experience and they've blended it together, how does that come together? You've coached this game for a long time. You've seen the good and you've seen it when it doesn't necessarily, I'm sure, come together. But how has this group been able to blend itself together with so much youth and what we would think inexperience, and obviously finding the results that they're able to put together?
Yeah. We have a great offensive coordinator in Brindy Griffin, and Brooke Matthews Shriver is my associate head coach who played midfield. We just, a lot of reps. I think the word that you use is trust. We trust in each other. We, want to create for each other, that kind of selfless play. Getting on the same page does take time and takes repetition and practices. And we're getting there. On offense, the game itself, just one of the things is love to pass. Just love to pass. The game, as the rules and it seems complicated, and what did they just call? It's a simple game. You go hard, you score a goal. If someone doubles you, you follow the slide. It's pretty simple. But yes, Pete, I do appreciate the shout out. Great chemistry on the offensive end. Other defenses try to be very disruptive of that. And, it just makes us a better team. If we go through a game and we think we can do better, we want to see what we gained, whether we won or lost, what did we gain from that competition? And we always feel like every day just step out and try to get a little bit better. But like you said, having chemistry, working together, just uniting each other's spirit and trusting are big parts of developing team chemistry, particularly on the offensive end.
It's the greatest rivalry in sports. There's no doubt about it.
Thanks, Pete.
Look, I'm glad your program gets a chance to participate in it now. I mean, obviously, they weren't able to share that same feeling sometimes with some of their athletic brethren around the yard, but I'm glad that you guys get to share in that feeling now.
Yeah.
Always love talking about this sport with you. You know that. Best of luck to you and your team coming up on Thursday night, and hopefully you guys get another W and get a chance to play for Patriot League Championship.
Pete, thanks for the invitation. No one better than you interviewing anybody at any time or announcing. I appreciate it. Thank you.